I got a call from my CFO. The 30,000 is all gone. He says, no, Ben. It seems like it's the whole wallet. I asked, what did we have in the wallet? He said about 400,000 Ethereum. Okay, how much is that in dollars? And that's when his voice started shaking, and he said $1.5 billion. Crazy week.
Just the same as last time, man.
Really?
Bybit was hacked for $1.4 billion.
Ben Zhao, the co-founder and CEO of Bybit,
one of the largest crypto exchanges in the world with over 60 million users.
People think Bybit is going to shut down, we're going to rug pull. If client wants to withdraw Ethereum, I don't have Ethereum, but I want all of them to withdraw to test me so I can prove that I'm actually one-to-one. They said we still have a stablecoin wallet. How much? 3 billion safe. Lost 1.5. Asked my CFO, can we cover the loss with our money? And he says yes. Okay, so I pay, clients are safe.
Has the thought of stopping the withdrawals ever crossed your mind?
No, my employee says, Ben, just use Twitter Space because that's most used. No, let them see my face, let them say Ben. Our liquidity is back to 100 now. All the institutions are back.
You posted a picture of your stress score on your group, then you show that to say, hey guys, I'm actually not stressed. If you can't stress out with an event like that, what can make you stress out?
I think my wife makes me stress out. But we need to stop laughing. This is a serious show.
69% of the people who watch this podcast have not subscribed. If you enjoy this show, if it provides value to you in one way, shape, or form, can I please ask you a little favor? Can you click that subscribe button, give this video a like, and leave a comment down below? It helps this show more than you can imagine. My goal is to bring the absolute biggest and brightest people on this channel, and the best way to get there is to have all of us rally together and build the When Shift Happens family. Thank you. This conversation is supported by Jupiter, the most used decentralized trading platform on Solana and the largest DAO in the world. Bitwise Asset Management, the crypto specialist asset manager with more than $10 billion in client assets and more than 30 crypto solutions across ETFs, index funds, alpha strategies, staking, and more. 3. A scalable layer 1 blockchain that's fast, secure, and affordable, built by previous Facebook developers, and that delivers the benefits of Web3 with the ease of Web 2. And Mantle, an Ethereum layer 2 that built 2 products I particularly like. FBTC, which enables you to borrow and lend Bitcoin in DeFi, and METH or METH, one of the largest ETH liquid staking protocols in crypto.
Crazy week. Crazy weekend, actually. Weekend. Why are you laughing?
Because you're just the same as last time, man.
Really?
just laughing. I mean, what else can you do at some point, right? Just crazy.
What would you expect? Come here and crying?
No. I was not expecting anything less from you. So yeah, as you can see, we improved the quality. We have some penguin on the table.
Yeah,
we have a nicer room.
Well, you own an NFT? You own the NFT or something?
I have a bunch of NFTs, yeah.
Ah, okay. Good.
We have more sponsors.
Good.
The toilets, if you go there, it's not a hole anymore. I don't know if you remember the other place. It was just like the old Chinese building.
Yeah, it's nice.
So we're improving.
Okay.
But as you said, like crazy week, crazy weekend.
Crazy weekend.
How are you doing, man?
Good. Getting back, yeah.
Already getting back?
Yeah. All hands on deck. There's a lot more things to do. I think we can talk about it, yeah. But I think there's a lot of things positive came out of it, right? Yeah.
Can you tell me what? I mean, it's been 3 days, right?
Yeah, it's only 3 days.
You always exactly, which must feel for you probably like a couple of weeks.
It feels like 1 or 2 weeks, actually. It feels like, but it actually only been 3 days. And if you think about it, the gap is closed. We are back to our liquidity is actually back to 100. So all the institutions are back, and so it's pretty insane to think about.
Did you manage to get any sleep?
I had 1 hour sleep on the day, maybe 3 hours sleep next day, and then about 5 hours last night, basically. Yeah.
So hopefully you get to 7 tomorrow.
Yeah. 5 to 6 hours.
1, 3, 5, 7. What's your honest thoughts on what just happened? You just said there's a lot of positive points, which is pretty amazing just after 3 weeks already talking about that like that.
Yeah. What do you mean? What do I think happened? Like how the heck happened?
No, first, before we talk about the details, let's talk about, for example, you said...
I mean, you've watched some of the things I've done, right? The podcast or the space. Have you? Do you know the detail of the things?
Yes.
Or you have. So you have an idea of kind of timeline.
But we're still going to repeat some things here because...
Yeah, that's fine. And I feel like also it was not as detailed as it could be, which I don't mind sharing.
The idea will be to detail everything.
Yeah.
But first you said you're already seeing after 3 days positive points. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. I think the Bybit, the silver lining is that our transparency and the way I think made the whole world see that how we handled crisis in such a professional ways, and that actually gave a lot of people confidence for some reason. I guess it's the phrase that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? So we've already seen clients coming back, VIPs start to come back, institutions. I think, and then we're going to have a few initiatives, try to chase the money, which is going to be industry first. We're launching a site tomorrow. The whole team has been up for 2 days since the hack to build a website to really help future victims as well to chase the money.
How are you going to do that?
We'll launch it tomorrow. You'll see. We're launching a site. Actually, it was a lot of designers. It's really cool. But tomorrow, well, hopefully tomorrow, but maybe the day after tomorrow. But in a few days for sure. Yeah.
Which is more or less when this podcast is going to be released in the next few days.
Yes.
How can you stay laser focused when you run on so little sleep?
Are we on record already?
Yeah.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I saw we were still waiting for the start button or something.
There's no start button. We do it the organic way.
Okay. Yeah. So how do I stay laser focused? I think when you know there's so many things you need to do, you don't think about focus or not focus. You just focus because there's a priority of things that I need to be doing. And actually, if we want to talk about priorities, when it happened, the second day and third day, it's all completely different priorities for me, which is quite interesting. But somehow when you know it, you'll be focused, and then you actually kind of get the satisfaction from completing whatever you want to focus on. Yeah.
You came on this podcast already more than a year ago, and I asked you, what is your mission? And you said, I want to be useful and I want to solve problems.
Yeah.
And the world gave you some pretty big problems over the last couple of days. You said before, one of the positive points is that people actually trust us even more because you did a sort of masterclass in leadership. Usually when someone gets hacked or robbed, there are a few phases that one goes through. Feeling violated, then anger, then depression, and then you realize that you're the master of your own destiny, the captain of the ship, and you bounce back. And you literally skipped, or you seem to have skipped the first 3 stages and you went straight to the last one. You talked about priorities. What's the very first thing you do when you learn that your exchange got hacked for $1.5 billion on a Friday night at 10 p.m.?
You mean that first 10 seconds?
What do you do?
First, so I got a call from my CFO. So after I signed the transaction, about 30 minutes later, he called me. When I get the call, it was already, I know it's bad news because he typically don't call me. The guy likes to send message. He just doesn't like call. He calls me. The moment I pick up, it's him and my security team. That I know it's most likely a hacking happened. But then the transaction that I signed was 30,000 Ethereum. So I was in my head trying to calculate 30,000. I forgot the price of Ethereum. So I was like, okay, 3,000, 30,000, 3,000. Okay, how much is that? Mm-hmm. And then I said, Ben, something is very bad. I said, okay, well, we got hacked. He said, yes. I said, okay, the 30,000 is all gone. And that's when his voice starts shaking. And that's when I start to get a little bit shaky. I was like, okay, this is much worse. He says, no, Ben. It seems like it's the whole wallet. And I asked, what do you mean the whole wallet? What do we have in the wallet? Because I don't know. He said about 401,000 Ethereum. And I was like, okay, how much is that? And he said $1.5 billion. And so that's when the moment I get, I had butterflies in my stomach when I see the people that's calling me. Right after I sign 30 minutes, I get a bad feeling. But that's when I felt, ooh, my God, okay. I was kind of a bit shaky, a bit sweating. And then I know no point to worry about the money and think about the money and the damage and the consequence, but to focus, snap out of it. So about 10 seconds took me to snap out. And the next question I asked was, how did it happen? They said, well, you signed this wallet. My security team is the one answering me now, saying you signed this transaction, which lead to, they believe, a hacking of the whole wallet. And I said, what about our other wallet? Are they secure? My security team confirmed that it's all secured, only this specific wallet. And I asked like 3 times, are you guys sure? Because this answer is very critical for me to make the next move, to know how is the problem contained. Do I need to shut down the system to find out what happened? Or do I need to go to the next crisis to face the bank run? There's multiple things that's happening in my head. So they said that, then I stopped worrying. I said, okay, then the system is intact in my head. I think about we are not being penetrated is the third party because it's the cold wallet that got hacked, which we use Genesis Safe. So I asked them, only Genesis Safe is hacked. They're like, correct, 100%. Was okay, what other wallets do we have under Genesis Safe? They said, we still have a stablecoin wallet. How much? 3 billion. Guys, 3 billion, safe or not safe? You got to give me a fucking answer now. Confirm. Ben, safe. 3 billion safe. Lost 1.5. I said, okay. And I said, ask my CFO, can we cover the loss with our money? And he says, yes. Then at that point, I know I don't need to worry about trying to sell the company or get investment to. I know that clients' monies are safe. At least I don't have to face legal consequences. The moment I make the decision, it's all under my control that I pay, clients are safe. So this was the biggest relief, and I took a big breeze, and then I started the whole next part, which is commanding the team and everything. But these were the first few questions that I had to make sure. And so I know what I may focus next. Yeah.
What did you do next?
I called my my COO, and then she come online. We briefly updated her, and she went into the crisis procedure. We have what we call incident in the company, or P-1. P-1 means very, very critical incidents. We've had critical incidents before, and we have a monthly draw on all the critical incidents that might happen. So,
can you give an example of a previous critical incident and how big it was compared to this one?
Nothing was this big. We've never experienced a hack. Previous, maybe the website was down, or the match engine is down. Nobody can make a trade in derivatives, let's say. Or the withdrawal system is down, is not responding, it will be considered a P-1. P-1 in our term is impacting more than 10,000 clients. Any function down that's impacting more than 10,000 clients, or causing damage more than $1 million in terms of USD. So any of these one we find is a P-1 incident, and there is a P-1 button that anyone can call. You click on that button, it immediately wakes up all the management of the company, and it's a actual phone call, and it's by sequence. If the guy doesn't pick up, automated call follows. So it's a master controlled system. It's all automatic. So you want, and everyone gets a call. If you don't pick up, Kevin don't pick up, your deputy head will get the call next, in case it's midnight or whatever. Everyone then get online. There is a meeting room already created for them. They join. There's someone taking notes, someone doing commanding, someone giving the instruction, and then it's all done. So we have a drill every month for this P-1. After I told her this is definitely P-1, so she proceeded with the P-1 procedures in the company.
Dear When Shift Happens family, the following message is probably the single most important thing you should take away from today's podcast. If you're serious about your crypto investing journey, please take some time to learn how to self-custody your assets to make sure that nobody can take your coins away. Ever. If you don't learn how to be your own bank, it is very likely that one day you will lose all your hard-earned crypto. The safest way to hold your crypto is in a cold storage that we also call hardware wallets. Hardware wallets are not complicated and they give you peace of mind. I personally use a hardware wallet called Trezor. It is open source, very easy to use, and the first hardware wallet created ever. As we like to say it in crypto, not your keys, not your coin. You can order your Trezor wallet with a 10% discount by following the link in the description down below and by using the promo code WSH10. And now back to the episode. Do you tell everyone exactly what happened? Or you say it's a P-1?
No, so in this case, actually, we just told the team that we got hacked. Yeah. You have to tell everyone that what happened within the team. Yeah.
You said you have these procedures, right? And obviously one of my questions was how much, because the procedures are there, which is very important, but there's a lot of judgment going on too, which is what you showed just before starting this kind of procedure, but also probably during the crisis management, there's a lot of judgment coming in there. How much is it judgment? How much is it pure procedure?
A lot of it is judgment. Because this time everything is different. Previously, our incident, my role was really inside. I would make maybe one post about what happened to the site. Let's say website is down. Because the only thing you can say is our website is down. As you all see it, we're working on it. That's really all you can say when your website is, and that's the worst can happen to exchange other than hacking. Imagine Binance website is down or Bybit website is down. That's literally the next thing that happens worse than hacking. That's the worst possible can happen. When it happens, you don't need to do so much publicized streaming to tell the public what happened. It's more like, hey, I'll tell you the site is down. Already clients coming in to complain they cannot open the site, they cannot place an order. Then my role is mostly internal facing, working with the tech team, find out what happened, which system we need to shut down first to test which part of the system is wrong. Is it Amazon server problem? Is it our front end? Is it our coding? What happened? Did we release a new bug or whatever? But this time is different. It's the whole system is functional. It's a hacking that happened just now on the external, and it was such a huge amount. So everything is different. And we have all the template to tell clients that this system is down, we are working on it, please wait. So none of that is working because everything else it works. Yeah. So actually we have to redo everything. Yeah.
You said most of it is judgment. And so a lot of judgment is needed to make the right decision under this intense pressure. What previous bad experiences that did you have in your personal life or entrepreneurship life that one way or another helped you deal better with this situation?
Dealing with stress or sudden incident, right? Number one is I don't feel stress. I don't really feel stress. When people say I'm so stressful, it's typically when you have things in your mind that you know you can do something about it and you are not doing about it, right? And for me, if I have something in mind, I'll just fucking do it. So I don't understand the stress. Yeah. So when this happened, I know there's things I can out of my control. The 1.5 billion is out of my control, at least for now. So that's out of my mind. I'm not even thinking about it. Then what is the next thing I need to worry is the bank run. Is that everyone in the world is going to find out about this whole thing very soon. what do I need to do to calm the market down and to still build a trust? And in my head, I'm thinking whatever we do from now on will decide the fate of Bybit in the next 5-10 years. And my goal is to make sure that we as a company still there after 10 years. And how do I handle this? Is I look at that's where I am going to be. So we need to handle this with such a professionalism, with transparency, and show the world that we can handle a crisis like this. So I'm immediately in a kind of battle mode. If you ask me how I reacted, I think even in the last podcast I told you I've been away from home since I was 12, living by myself. I wasn't with my parents. It was alone, kind of in New Zealand, dealing with even life issues with my host family, the school and everything. So I think since I was a very young age, I learned that to think things on my own and trying to find out solutions on my own, not panicking because there's no use. My parents was not in the country. I was in New Zealand. They're in China. So even if I want to find them, it's a 15-hour flight. So whatever emergency, for example, I got stolen once. I got maybe in the morning, got one of the host family didn't like me, kicked me out when I was 12. I have to deal with it myself. There's no one else. So I think that's how it kind of came to, I guess, it developed in a way that whatever issues that comes, I have to fucking deal with it. So I don't think about the step 1, step 2, step 3. I don't have the luxury. And I goes to the step 5 or 4, whatever you just mentioned. Yeah.
You mentioned the bank runs, right? And we had multiple examples of bank runs in 2022, Celsius, FTX, many other big players in the space. And it all started on Twitter. How did you concretely manage the PR side? What goes on in your mind to say, okay, now you said, my goal is for Bybit to be here in 10 years and be at the top. What do I need to do now so that it doesn't end up as a PR catastrophe, which is what happened to so many other big players in the space, and that killed all of them?
One of the big problems people don't know this is when they have a PR department, they think, let the PR department do the job. That's never the truth. When you face an incident like this, it's not the PR, it's you, the founder, the CEO yourself. Look, if it's my PR team drafting a message, sending through Twitter, or one of my PR guys standing there, it would be disastrous. No one would trust them. So the moment I think about it, I know that the bank run is going to come. I know clients will have many questions. So right after I called my COO, the next thing I do, I know she's going to handle all the calling everyone and informing the next steps. Customer support, all hands on deck, basically. I told her, handle it. I'm going to sit down and draft the first tweet. I want all the media, everyone to get information directly from me, and me only. Even my team don't know what happened. My PR team have to get secondhand message. I'm the only person that knows exactly what happened, and I'm the only person is fitting to do this role. So from that moment, I know that I am the PR guy, and I am the PR of the whole damn thing. So I want control the media by I will say everything and tell them everything, the fact, so that everyone gets the fact direct. There's no speculation. In an event like this, the worst is people are guessing. And people think, Bybit is going to shut down, we're going to rug pull. If you notice the way we handle it, after my first tweet, my next thing we did was a stream, online stream, which is happened about 40 minutes after the incident. And then there was a lot of discussion in the middle. Number one is, do we use Twitter Space? And almost my employees says, Ben, just use Twitter Space because that's the most used. And I tell them, no. Let them see my face. Let them say Ben. It's very critical that me on my face, looking into the camera, tell everyone what happened as the founder and CEO of the company. And that people will trust that I'm telling the truth. I shouldn't be the one hiding. And I shouldn't be the one passing these messages because I don't have time to pass it to someone else to do it for me. So that's, I think, on the PR side. But luckily, I think Bybit I'm able to do all this because The team is extremely solid. They are making all these moves behind me. I can assign key stakeholders to do everything else. Even you look back 3 days, many things has happened on top of what I do. So that's, I think, we show the world that it's not only about Ben, it's about the whole team executing everything. Yeah.
So priority number 1, avoid bank run. What do you do next? One of the things you did, so first you contacted people internally. One of the other things you have to do is contact key players in crypto. Who did you contact first and why?
So the bank run, establish trust, I have to be there, tell them. And then although I do all this, I know the bank run is going to happen. And what I'm scared is...
what's the absolute worst that can happen at that moment?
Well, the absolute can happen. Well, first of all, Bybit is actually very transparently one-to-one backed with client asset. So I'm not afraid of bank run. The only thing I'm afraid is I am short of Ethereum, which just happened. Mm-hmm. So I am not one-to-one at that moment. If client wants to withdraw Ethereum, I don't have Ethereum. So, and my logic is that I want clients to withdraw. I want all of them to withdraw to test me so I can prove that I'm actually one-to-one. But the only missing part is I don't have Ethereum to give it to them. And I know when they see the news, Ethereum is what they want to withdraw. So in order to establish this trust, and again, the goal is to be here for another 50, 100 years, is that I have to show them, I need to give them Ethereum as soon as possible. So then I assigned one of my key personnel, my finance team, to go out, talk to partners to get a bridge loan of Ethereum. It's not realistic to buy Ethereum off the market because we will just pump the price and then we will end up paying a huge amount. Mm-hmm. So we need to find people to immediately give us a bridge loan, because the bridge loan is easy. We give them collateral, Bitcoin, USDT, which is what we have. And then they will give us the Ethereum to top up, make sure we are back to one-to-one. Yeah.
So you don't have to, okay. So you don't have to prove anything to anyone because you're giving collateral, right? Because one of my questions was, how do you convince, because everyone is in panic, right? How do you convince other key partner in the space? You don't convince till you trust. You just say collateral. There's no time.
If you are actually one-to-one, and if I am truly able to cover the loss, it means that I'm not in panic mode. It's just that I don't have that much Ethereum, but what I have is Bitcoin, USDT, and cash in the bank, right, for operation. So
which is yours,
the company, Bybit,
right? It's not the client asset.
So client's asset is here. My money is here. Client asset got stolen. I'm putting my asset there, but it's not Ethereum. But in order to restore one-to-one, I need to go put Ethereum. So I exchange my asset into Ethereum, put it back, which happened today, fully backed, and that's it. So yeah.
And so what do the clients, the partners ask? They ask one-to-one collateral.
They ask even
higher
more
than that.
They ask more. They will typically ask more. So maybe 110, maybe 120. Depends on whatever you give them. If it's Bitcoin, it's 100, maybe 10. If it's a stable coin, it's better. Then we have other shit like, I don't know, XRP and, it will be higher. It depends on the volatility of the asset. Yeah.
So it means you have XRP in Bybit.
No, we have a number of different tokens. I'm just giving you an example. Yeah.
What's a great leader?
Sorry?
What's a great leader?
What's a great leader? I think to give clear instruction during a time like this. You do this, you do that, you do this, and you can divide, and everyone is clear what they're focused on. I mean, during this whole process, there was many issues that pop up we never imagined. I'll give you an example. Because we were hacked on Safe, so we informed Genesis Safe immediately. They shut down their service. that means nobody can withdraw anything using Genesis Safe. Funny enough, the people we talked to try to get a bridge loan. After we sign the contract, they will come back and say, Ben, I'm sorry, we cannot transfer because our money is stuck in Genesis Safe as well. So you kind of stuck. You're like, okay, that's one issue. That's one of the first issue we find out. The second issue we find out is, remember what I just said, we have 3 billion USDT. 3 billion USDT also in Safe. Now, even if Safe didn't shut down, I don't have the balls to touch this money.
Of course.
And then but I'm experiencing a bank run. All the clients are withdrawing assets. And within our system, we can clearly see how much withdrawal that comes in, predicted amount, each wallet, how much stock we have, and how long we can last. From our prediction, with this bank run, the trend, within the first hour, we got 200,000 requests withdraw. With this trend happening, we can last about 6 hours until our existing stablecoin wallet runs out. Then I have to tap into that 3 billion. But I cannot. So at that point, which is during my live stream, I took a break. I had my other colleague on the live stream talking for me when they are coming down the clients. I would come back and I find out this information. So immediately I call my wallet team, stop looking for what happened. I need a new way to get the 3 billion out safely. And the team come back later and tell me, Ben, we're going to develop a software now, which we will test now. And you will transfer 3 billion out of it. And if I don't do that, then I have to shut down withdrawal, really. And then, so I said, go ahead and do it. So I think to answer your question, there's a lot of emergency that comes up. The leader, there's a leader in different times. I think your question is during a crisis time, is that your head needs to be cool and you need to understand what are the priorities. And I understand my priorities and making sure that everyone knows Bybit is okay even after this. So I need to make sure I get that 3 billion out to give clients the withdrawal.
I need to have massive trust in the people that you commend too, because they could be not as cool as you in their head and they could make mistakes.
Yeah. So in order to pull this off again, it's not a one-man job. It's really shows the whole team, the person that were talking about the loans. You notice that we covered the whole Ethereum within 3 days. Even the OTC desk is extremely efficient. So you have the wallet team, you have the support team that's coming all the clients, you have institution team that's coming down all the institutions, making sure the liquidity is back. So I think each leader have to be completely cool and make sure they execute on point.
You're wearing a whoop?
Yes.
So, I have to ask about that. You posted a picture of your stress score on your whoop.
Yeah.
After pulling an all-nighter, I think it was like Saturday morning, like 10 or 11 a.m.
Yes.
So basically 12 hours all night long working straight.
Yeah.
Then you show that, you say, hey guys, like my stress is, I'm actually not stressed. You said before, it's because stress is when you don't take an action on something you know you should, right? If you can't stress out with an event like that, what can make you stress out?
I think my wife makes me stress out. The honest truth that maybe my kids and wife make me stress out. That's the only thing.
They have this superpower.
No, whatever they say, I cannot do. So the only thing I can do is stress. Yeah, no, when it comes to work, it's not that bad. Oh, this is funny. Yeah, we need to stop laughing. This is a serious show. No,
it's serious, but at the same time, I mean, the majority of the things are good now, and also it shows that. I mean, you're able to laugh about things, which is extremely important. What's your biggest fear in life?
to So what was the question?
What's
You
what's
gotta
your-
stop laughing.
Sorry.
You laugh, I want to laugh.
what's your biggest fear in life?
I think not knowing my own limit. I think this is something I mentioned. Why I work, why I push everything so hard is I don't know where the limit is, and the biggest fear is looking back when I'm old and already knows that that's where I am. My life is defined. That I didn't push as hard as I could. So that's one. And yeah, and I think the second fear is to really, I don't want to disappoint people. I don't want to disappoint people who especially trust me, whether it's my team or my customers. I think that's something extremely important. Yeah.
On the first point, you said, I don't have limits. What's enough?
What's enough? What do you mean?
What's enough for you? What's the day you say, oh, I'm happy like that?
That's when my energy and my health is no longer able to do things. I think that's how I defined I'm settled. It's the energy level, it's the health, I think. Yeah.
Last question on stress. What's the most stressful moment you've ever experienced in life?
Most stressful moment. Sorry. There's someone calling me. Most stressful moment. Honestly, I cannot think when is my most stressful moment. I would say it's still this event, but it's different because this event, I think we tried our best to handle it. I think there were times that, although you know there's an issue, it is out of your control to handle it. It's probably even more stressful.
You said before that you did some other shows, some live streams, but you didn't go as deep as you wanted on those. What exactly happened for Bybit to get hacked for $1.5 billion?
Oh no, I think I went pretty deep. Yeah, there's some small discussions and how certain decisions have arrived. But yeah, no, I think what really happened was, yeah, it was our code, Ethereum code wallet was hacked. We're still trying to find out what exactly happened with different security team and external security team, internal. I think by tomorrow they probably have something, which we will tell the world what happened, and hopefully no other people will become a victim again. Yeah, but I guess you got to be more specific on the question, because otherwise I can talk for a long time. Yeah.
I think we could get back to what you did in sequence. Before you said there's something I do on day 0, on day 1, on day 2. We talked mostly about day 0.
Yeah.
What do you do afterwards, day 1?
So day 1, the priority is, so by 12 hour, we've already completed all the withdrawals. Pretty much the second day, I have time to think about what now. So the first day was all emergency reaction, crisis management, PR, calming the market down, tell everyone we're still okay. Day 2 is I have a little bit time and luxury to think, holy shit, this happened. What's next for the company? What are the priorities today? So day 2, the priority, or day 1, or day 0, day 1, day 2, if you want to say, or day 1, day 2, day 3. So the second day, I think my head is around, we need to see an impact report on what exactly we lost in terms of how many clients from what region, institution clients, VIP clients, liquidity, these major things. And then so I was with BI team looking at all the numbers. And also we have a bit of time to trying to find out what happened, engaging external security teams to help us do forensics and all that. And then also have a bit of time to think about what we're going to do to chase the money. Can we get it back? So I think these are the 3 things in my head, and I would even out the time spent on these 3. Yeah.
You said we have the money, right, for this, to cover this?
Yeah.
How many months or years will it take Bybit to cover this with the money you make?
Well, then you are essentially asking me what I make a year, right?
There's some people who talked about it out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe they're coming with rough numbers. So I don't know if it's like a public information you want to share or not.
Yeah, I think some people say it's something we make around 1 year. That's roughly right. I think about that. Yeah. But, obviously there are other expenses and stuff like that. Yeah.
You said before we can't just buy back the Ethereum because it would affect the price. So the first thing today there was a tweet where you said that the gap is closed through loans, deposits of whales, ETH purchases. But you will need, from what I understood, maybe I might be wrong, you will need to rebuy about 400,000 ETH at some point.
Yeah.
How do you do this without losing even more money with an asset that is very volatile and that might squeeze up?
Well, that's what the market is commenting now. Even with Bybit buying bloody 1.5 billion, ETH is not moving. so all the Ethereum haters, are hating fucking Ethereum for now, which is very funny. But no, we bought it all through OTC. So when you buy OTC big amount, it doesn't really move the price. So and we have. The infrastructure of the market is so mature now that you actually, even with 1 billion something amount purchased, you can do it without impacting the market so much. So you've seen Ethereum move a little bit, and that's actually speculation of us buying. It's not really us buying it causing it, right? Because we are just doing OTC. That doesn't move the market. We've bought, I would say, we lost 400. We bought like close to 300,000 already. So the borrowed amount or the loan is only, about 100,000 something. And that's been gradually also bought and swapped. Because essentially they are holding my collateral anyways, and they're charging me interest. It doesn't make sense for me to keep the loan for too long. So I'm actually incentivized to buy it all back and replace it. But as of today, the gap is already closed. Yeah.
When you're building an exchange or you're building a business in general, there are many moments where you could cut corners to grow faster, which is exactly what ultimately killed most businesses when times get tough. What are some examples of corners that you didn't cut and that could have cost you your business this weekend?
Oh, there's many things. There's a good question. So there's many things that's hidden underneath that you don't see, but people see the surface, how we managed to pull it off. For example, I was able to make the decision that all system withdrawal will be sustained. We're not going to hold any withdrawal, which is very rare. When the exchange get hacked, they hold withdrawal. If you think about all the previous exchange hack, they just stop withdrawal, right? How can we do that? Not because we are just we have the balls or whatever. It's simply because we run in such tight ship that we have many dashboard. The Bybit is run on numbers and dashboard. We have margin calculation, wallet level, but all of that is real time. The difficult is to build it in real time. You typically have T plus 1 or plus 10 hours, whatever, but we have real time. So when withdrawal comes, we see exactly which chain have how much stockpile. And we're able to do predictions on how bad the things are. How bad is a bank run? When you say a bank run, 100% bank run and 10% bank run is a very different concept. But the difference is, how do you know? FTX didn't know. So they didn't have anything to measure to give the CEO to be cool, to be able to make decisions. You got to make decisions based on something. So I was able to make many decisions based on all the numbers, all the system internally. It shows that how well we run the company and how the company has. So you cannot cut corners in things like that. Do you invest in building your own product internally for the staff? So your finance team can see exactly what's happening. Your risk team can know exactly where liquidity is missing, so we can do something about it. For example, today or yesterday, we are able to pull out the impact report to see exactly which country, which client was impacted during this, and so we can do a targeted campaign to get them back. So these internal things, you have to invest. You cannot cut corners. And if we cut corners, I would be freaking out, and I wouldn't be able to make these type of decisions. So that's one example, I think. Yeah.
So this example is basically you spend a lot of time and money to build amazing business intelligence systems that are in real time internally. Yeah. So you know exactly, you keep the pulse on your business at any time.
Yes, correct.
Do you have another example? And while you're saying it, I'm just going to give you more water.
Thank you.
Maybe just one word on that. Just one word on the data analytics and business intelligence. I actually run a business intelligence company, and what I see everywhere is that no one understands their data.
Yeah.
Like most companies, they don't understand their data, and even very simple things, like what they sell, the inventory, all that stuff. And so it's a big problem. We started a business in 2015, and I was thinking in 2015, in 10 years, this is going to be a problem that's going to be long gone, right? 10 years later, it's still a problem everywhere. So the fact that you guys are, and when you say real time, like this is something I've never seen anywhere at a client where we arrived.
Yeah.
Basically. So it kind of shows how seriously you take the whole thing. Absolutely. What other example you have on corners that you didn't cut?
I think it's invest in the team, making sure that it's really a team that takes you to where you want to be. I think we have a world number one team. That's what I truly believe. And this whole system showed. With all the withdrawals we processed within 12 hours, we've experienced around 350,000 requests of withdrawal. It all achieved and happened and finished within 12 hours. So we handled, not only we had a bank run, we handled it in such a speed. That shows the support team, the approving team, the review team, and the risk management team, everyone was on point. Otherwise, at least from my experience, I've never seen exchange handling non-stop withdrawal 12 hours, completely finishing it in the end, right? And this all happened at night. We're in Asia hour mostly, yeah? That means we were able to wake up everyone and handle it and do it in such efficient way. It shows that the manage of the company is such precise ship. So when you run a precise ship, you can imagine a hole happened, a draining water in, everyone knows what to do. So, and you know, the PR team, even the live stream that it did was such nice lighting and everything. I
was thinking about that before. I was like, you said it's 40 minutes just after
40 minutes.
And so it's working, it's there, there's
working,
good light,
I have a
you look
camera,
good. Like, I
have touch up, you know, everything. Yeah.
Crazy.
So and what's really funny is my stream team is a bunch of girls, and they normally look phenomenal, makeup and everything. And that day they all came out was the first time I see them without makeup, and Everyone's here was like, oh, like this. Everyone looked grumpy, but no, they were so professional. They were so professional, right? They put me in the camera, and you notice everything was designed in such a precise way. When I'm away getting update, there's a slide, holding slide. The holding slide typically says, be right back. But they put a time. We'll be back UTA time 6:30 or 10 o'clock or whatever. So that clients know. And we know we have thousands of people online. If you only give them a be right back, they think you will never be back. But we'll be back in 30 minutes, exactly at this clock, this time. Everyone is waiting for the new update. And then we were judging how long to sustain this live stream based on how many people is watching. Not by... So by the end of 1 hour, 45 minutes, initially we had, I think, 40,000 people watching. By then it was 4,000. Then I know the sentiment is down. So from the number of viewers, I know it's time to stop. If I still have 40,000 people online, I would never stop. I would just continue to do the stream. And so that was all planned with my team. And so imagine they're able to do this with such a short call. It also shows that the team is managed in such a way. So I think at the end of the day is you got to invest in your people, in your leaders. And by saying invest, it's a fucking painful process. It means you got to do a lot of harsh firing. People don't understand. You somehow just get a magic team. No. You have your standard. You never back down your standard. And you have to fire 10 people to get that one person that gives you the standard. And it's hard to do one. It's harder even to do that many people, that every single leader is on point. So there are a lot of, I would say in Bybit, even the interview process is hardcore, but then a lot of people don't pass probation. 3 months, we're letting a lot of people go because they simply cannot fit. And that's eventually you filter, you have a team that's really going to deliver you to where you are, I think. Yeah.
So business intelligence, data live, and people, invest in people.
Yeah.
I have another one that I think is extremely interesting. Bybit is one of the rare exchanges that doesn't have a native token. Why did you never launch a token?
There's many reasons, yeah. I think we've had the temptation of thinking of launching something. But to be very frank, when we were in the game, we were already very late. Binance launched the token, OKX. Actually, no, there's exchange behind us later than us that launched. But I never understood the point, because if the exchange is making money, you can simply raise, or if you need money, let's say, typically if you're an exchange, you're already sustainable, you normally don't need investment. Then why do you need a token? Token is typically you want investment, right? Unless it's what they call an ecosystem you want to get, meaning that you want to somehow get users from your ecosystem. But Bybit was never in any time trying to build an ecosystem by myself. We've always seen us as part of the ecosystem. We start the whole business based on working with influencers and KOLs, be a part of them. Then when we have Spot, we started working with Solana, Tong, all these ecosystems by blending in. And what we've always found is when we don't have something that's essentially what other people have, there's no conflict of interest. The problem I see with other exchanges, when you have an ecosystem, essentially you're competing with other exchange, and then you're competing with other ecosystem like Solana and Tong, and nobody wants to work with you. And this game can be played only when you're the number one. I think very big. You have an ecosystem. You can extend many things, but we've never been the number one. We've always we're always the what they call the underdog. Yeah. So we never had the luxury to use that. So we in the end we just never launched it. Yeah.
Would this weekend situation have been different if Bybit had a token?
No, I don't think so. But to be frank, I don't think it has anything to do with this whole thing. If we have a token or not. Why would you think there's anything?
Because people start to short the token price goes down, then it creates more FUD, then people panic more. And then you have another
actually,
problem to take care of, right? Which is like,
Yeah, I never
fuck,
thought
this
about
is
that.
like this.
No, I never thought about this
vicious
because we
circle.
don't have a token, so it was never in my head. But no, you're right. Maybe you have another thing to explain and to solve. Yeah.
You had, I think, about 4 billion in withdrawals overnight. How do you bounce back and rebuild trust?
We are already bouncing back. I think it's through how you've handled the crisis. I think it's transparency and communication, and make sure you're professional at any given time. You would earn respect of the community. I think throughout this event, we earned respect. A lot of people was giving us pat on the shoulder, saying that we did a good job. Even under such a crisis, Bybit acted completely professional. That resulted even more trust. So I think even in the long run, we will work out stronger. People would understand we've been battle tested. And this has been seen from even regulators around the world. We are applying license through multiple regulators. Over the past few days, many reached out and saying that, hey, I think Bybit did a really good job. They even have more trust now that in the future, that if we see any incidents or any issues, that we will handle it in such a way. So I think if you look from that perspective, it is actually one of the best way to demonstrate to the world how we conduct things and our philosophy. Yeah.
What will change in terms of risk management at Bybit moving forward?
I assume you're talking about security, wallet security and things.
Wallet security, and also I'm thinking a question would be logical would be, is it normal to have $1.5 billion in a wallet? How much do you split? What's too much? What's not enough?
Yeah. So these are all questions that's been populated over the few days. I think my security team is definitely working on a future solution that will prevent this from happening. I think we're going to try to build everything in-house, that's for sure. And also prevented this by splitting the wallet so that not given one time, one wallet is breached, it's not going to hurt us this bad. There's also talks about what technology we should be using, because I think Ethereum have developed a lot. We're talking about Ethereum cold wallet here, right? So you have many other solutions that doesn't involve online signing, because one of the problems with the safe that we use is online signing. Use a browser, right? Which makes it not really cold. Whereas we have a lot more money with Bitcoin, let's say, in our cold wallet, but that cold wallet is not penetratable because it's completely cold. Meaning that all the signing, everything is happening in a completely offline environment, unless they physically break through, and otherwise it's not penetratable. So I think we're gonna design things focusing on the area that is not physically. It has to be done in the physically ways that penetratable. Yeah, I think these are some of the key focus. Yeah.
It still introduces for me one big problem in crypto overall, right? This self-custody. In crypto, we say not your keys, not your coin. And usually we say that to individual people, hey, you should not keep your coins on an exchange. You should keep it in self-custody, so on a Trezor or ledger. But when you see something like that happening, actually it doesn't make a difference, right? Because you guys are using much more security than the majority of the people who would self-custody, right, with a Trezor or ledger. Yet you can be hacked, which means that pretty much everyone can be hacked. What's the solution to crypto self-custody? And I'm thinking overall for like the space to move forward.
Yeah, one of the issue is we're a huge target. If you're a hacker, you're probably trying to think about hacking Bybit, right? So being that big of a target, I think one of the biggest learning we also had is we are even bigger than the safe company that we're using. So it makes sense to hack us just to reach them. If that's, I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that logically, so no matter how secure we do our stuff, or we are such a big target, right? So we shouldn't be even thinking about using a third-party solutions. Even if we use Ledger, I'm not saying Ledger is not secure. And by the way, Ledger in this case is not the problem here. But the hacker would try to penetrate Ledger just to get to me or even Binance, right? Why wouldn't they, right? So number one is we're a huge target. But if you talk about, your question is for regular users, I think know your key, know your coin is true, but also spread the eggs, I think. Spread your eggs. If your asset level reach a certain level, that you become a target. Right? Yeah.
So you're basically applying the self-custody concept to even Bybit and saying, hey, we need to self-custody with in that case, our own technology, because we can't even, I don't want to say trust third parties, but because we're bigger, we need to take responsibility for what's ours.
We need to take responsibilities. This is the biggest thing we learned. So it's not to point fingers. It's just we should have already used our own solutions. Again, we spend days and nights looking into our own security. And this happens, which impact us. Ultimately, it was our decision to use this solution. It could be the front end that our laptop got hacked or whatever. But why did we choose to use a solution that involves a browser signing, right? So that doesn't make sense. But again, safe is the industry standard. I mean, that's why when we try to borrow the Ethereum, these guys cannot send it to me because they also use safe. So I don't think we should rely on the too big to fail and the industry standard that you're assuming, but you should focus on your own stuff, and we will be more careful. And if we've been always using my own stuff, we will be more careful. When you are somehow relying on a third party, you leave that trust to them. Not saying that they cannot be trusted. Because you leave them, then you become careless. That's my point. My point is you become careless, and then you're not taking your own responsibilities. So I think that's what we should do. Yeah.
And you're making the case here for every business in crypto should do their own security, or if they're bigger than the third parties that they're using.
I think if you get to a level, especially as an exchange, if you've been running for more than a year, I'm sure you're on some sort of target, right?
Do you know what other exchanges are doing out there?
Yeah. So we've talked to, since this incident, we've talked to a few industry friends. I think all of them are using in-house solutions. So that's kind of the first thing they say, Ben, why do you use not saying that whatever the third party's problem, but you leave that problem to other people, and now you get hacked, you have no control over. So it's a matter of life and death. You shouldn't leave your life and death to other people's control, which makes sense, right? But again, our Bitcoin and all other coins are our in-house, so that's all secure. And Ethereum, the problem is Ethereum has always been hard because it's a smart contract thing. You need to hire a bunch of smart contract expert to build this thing. That's why we never bothered to do, which is now my biggest regret. We should have at least when we established the policy, we didn't have. But now today we have these experts in the company. But the system was never updated. So I think that's one of the issues.
You said you're not the kind of person to point fingers when talking about third parties.
I will point fingers if there's concrete evidence, but currently we are still under investigation, so we haven't found anything yet.
How about this decision that was not made to upgrade to your own infrastructure for this Ethereum wallet?
Yeah,
you're just saying, oh, this is I take it on my shoulders. I'm the CEO, I'm the founder, I'm the one who should have made this decision.
Correct. Yeah.
How much does what happened this weekend make the case more compelling for ETFs?
What do you mean? I don't think it has anything to do with ETFs. What do you mean?
An ETF, I mean, again, that'd be an interesting one. An ETF needs to custody the assets somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they're doing?
Oh yeah,
is there a similar risk? I'm not technical enough to know. Is there a similar risk for an ETF company as to what happened to Bybit? Or is it something completely different?
No, it's the same.
So someone who is lazy, like me, for example, could just say, or someone maybe, I would say, older who doesn't want to hold their coin or has too much money in crypto and says, I have too much money, I want to delegate responsibility, and the easiest way is to do that through an ETF because it's safe. That's not really true.
It depends on the underlying logic. How do they secure these ETFs? Now, you have to also bear in mind that Bybit is exchange. Our cold wallet solution requires almost weekly movement. I don't think ETF is almost like a thing, sits there, and most time is just depositing, and maybe at some point withdrawing. But I'm not in the ETF business, but I assume it's not like exchange. We have so many withdrawal deposit every single day, right? You have small deposit, big deposit. So the infrastructure required on the exchange is quite different than, let's say, a custody or ETF. So they can opt to a very secure solution because they will sacrifice efficiency. We cannot sacrifice too much efficiency because the clients will be crying and complaining that they need their withdrawal within minutes. So exchange faces a unique set of challenges. And ETF, I'm sure they also face a set of challenges, but it's just different. Yeah.
How much did Bybit have in assets and liabilities before the hack?
On top of my head, I don't remember. What do you mean? Like all clients' asset?
Clients' asset.
We have about 20 billion before.
And after the hack? 3 days after the hack?
I think 14. Yeah, but at some point we dropped to 10, 12, something, and then it bounced back. Yeah. So now it's about 14. Yeah.
How can you prove that customers' funds are safe?
It's our proof of reserve is audited, so it's definitely 1-to-1. And actually, I don't think any other exchange can claim, especially after I went through this whole weekend, I can pretty claim that I'm 1-to-1 backed because my withdrawal was completely open for anyone to bank run during this whole process, and I didn't reject any single withdrawal. I think only if you had 1-to-1, otherwise you'll be trying to at least stop the withdrawal a little bit or block it a little bit to get the money. But we didn't really worry about that. So I think this was the ultimate test, right? How do you test a bank reserves? You bank run it. Mm-hmm. And I just got bank run, so I'm tested. Right?
Has this thought ever crossed your mind in the last 72 hours?
About what?
Stopping the withdrawal.
No.
You've been saying for a few months that the future is on-chain?
Yeah.
Have these weekend's events pushed the agenda forward for the importance of decentralizing Bybit?
Look, the future is on-chain, but it doesn't mean sex don't have a future. I think it means that the on-chain activity, the on-chain infrastructure will get better. There's going to be more flow. It's same as how crypto have been growing over the last few years. That if you look at 5 years ago until today, crypto as a whole industry, we've grown tremendously. But it doesn't mean the stock market is dying, right? So to my logic, it's the same. It's the centralized exchange is still extremely critical to the whole ecosystem. A majority of the people need a centralized product to be able to navigate and stay and kind of facilitate all the product. Even the example of Trump that was launched with Moonshot, you see people come in, they gamble a little bit, and they left. There was no in between because there's nowhere for them to stay. And that's the part of the centralized exchange. It's really about offering a multiple ecosystem of product so they can stay and explore. And then they become a native crypto user. And then at some point, maybe they go explore. But even most of the people that are on-chain, they also still have a centralized exchange account and possibly some balance in both places. And in some case, majority of the balance on a SEX, right? So I don't think this event this weekend changed any of my views. This is still the same. And we treat on-chain Bybit as the same as we want to build the infrastructure for the future. But again, we are still a centralized exchange. Yeah.
You mentioned the Trump coin. How does this industry ever get taken seriously by the general public when every week we have another mega drama? Trump launching a coin, Melania launching a coin, the Argentina president launching a coin, rigging $400 million. And we have Bybit. Literally almost every Friday something happening, right? Bybit getting hacked, which definitely hurts the outsider view of the industry. What do we need to do to get taken more seriously?
I think we also need to look at the progress we've made. Don't want to be sounds bragging, but the way we handle this whole thing is tremendously different than other hacks. I see a lot of people compare Bybit to FTX when it first happened. This is not an FTX, but I don't think it ended like a FTX. We wrap it up within 3 days, and nobody could expect an exchange handle this in such a short, efficient manner. So although it was unfortunate the hack happened, which I think points to my next mission is trying to fight the hackers. And also we're going to launch this site this week, trying to help the victim. I think it's a problem that we need to solve. It's a problem that we as an industry needs to face. But other areas of the industry, I think, is already improving a lot. Even the on-chain part of it, on-chain activity, you have a lot of DEX solution for people to choose. Previously, it was not available. So I think, again, the industry is young. And if you even look at internet adoption, in the beginning, there was a lot of issues, a lot of problems. Infrastructure was not ready. But then it takes time. Crypto is still very young. So I think, but I have no doubt that people don't even think of crypto as a scam now. I mean, most countries legalizing and regulating crypto as an industry. And so I think we are, again, like my post said, is only way up from now. So I think that's what I think. Yeah.
You mentioned before that one of your biggest regrets was to not have this in-house infrastructure for the ETH wallet. Is there another big regret you have in this entire situation?
For our security team, or like our security measures and things like this?
I would say in general.
Well, for sure, I think from this weekend, we've actually listed down a few things we could improve. How our withdrawal system can be built in an even neater manner that allows clients even more efficient to withdraw. I think even during this type of crisis, we should be able to make it even more smoother. The only regret is we did let people wait in queue. Some clients wait for maybe 6-7 hours simply because they were in queue. And again, during a time like this, you tell them you're in queue, they think you're trying to intentionally block them, right? But it was not our intention, and I was really hoping that we can just let everyone withdraw whenever they want. And again, ultimately, it's letting them withdraw that gives them the trust and gives them the comfort. They see the coin in their own wallet, right? So based on that, I think there's a few improvements we need to address in the system so that if God forbid it happens again or in any type of similar situation, we can even do it better. And then I think the wallet security team, there's many key takeaways. Look, I'll give you a thing, maybe other people don't see it, is that my head of finance was the first signer. And then you have the co-founders. Now, one of my regret today is why do I put such a critical rule to be a signer? Because when shit like this happened, how does he face his colleague? And even how does he face me? Although we all know it's not his fault. I'm putting one of my most critical positions, my head of finance, in such a position that I never thought about it because I never thought we would get hacked. When hack happened, although we all know now it's the North Koreans, but he would be facing such a pressure and his family and himself. And I might end up losing him. And this is a guy that worked together, fight with me in battles for 4 or 5 years. And I trust the guy 100%. But just the thought that he would face such a guilt, that he might leave the company, it gives me the biggest regret that I shouldn't let such a critical rule be part of the signing process. And
so who should be?
Is someone I trust, but not so critical to the company, right? Because at the end of the day, why do you need a CFO signing? You don't. You just need someone you trust. Let the CFO do, because if he was not part of it, he would never feel this way, right? And so that's another thing I'm going to make sure I implement in the future, is that I don't want to risk any of my key personnel over this bullshit, right? I cannot imagine the pressure he faced this weekend, Yeah.
What's your message or your advice to a crypto entrepreneur who in the future, because it will happen, experiences tragic events like you had this weekend?
I think the beauty of this industry is we also need to compare us to banks and whatever. I don't think even banks can handle things like that in such transparent ways. So the beauty with our industry is transparency and the direct communication between the entrepreneur and your client base. So if there's anyone that had this happen, I think transparency is the key, and making sure that you keep communicating. You are there, and then the market will reward you for the transparency that you have, I think. Yeah.
It's Monday evening, about 10:30. You've been at it nonstop for 3 days. What are you going to do when you get home or to the office in half an hour?
No, I still have certain things I need to push, like get update on what's going on with. Did we find out what happened? We are starting a whole task force on chasing the money, and we're going to use this opportunity to help the industry, not only us, because during the crisis, the industry helped us. A lot of partners, everyone reached out for help without asking for anything. So I feel the obligation that we need to do something about it. And this whole, whether it's Lazarus or the hacker issue, is an ongoing, constant fucking problem. And the problem that I see now is when you are a victim, you're really helpless. Because what the hacker does is he knows you will chase him, but he also knows that you're one man if you're a victim, right? Or if you're a company, a small company, you don't have the resources to keep chasing and looking at the balances. And the hardest part of getting the money back is that he would divide the money into small quantity, such as 100,000 a piece. And he would go to a mixer, a bridge, or a small exchange, or a big exchange. And by the time you get to the exchange, the legal department replies, the money is gone. And you try a few times, you give up. And that's how it happens with most people. Because there isn't a information platform that aggregates everything and only about chasing money. There is chain analysis, but then by the time you get to an endpoint, which is the endpoint we define is an endpoint that whether you can freeze the money or an endpoint that you can no longer chase, untraceable. It's a mixer, a bridge, or exchange, or something you can freeze, USDT, USDC. The hacker will avoid the immediate freezable asset, USDT, USDC. It will try to use exchange, mixers, and bridge to drain your energy and patience. And then in the end, you realize you have 2-3 guys, keep chasing the exchange. They reply you within, even they're fast, they reply you within half a day and the money is gone, right? And the hacker is betting on this game. So how do we solve that as an industry? Is that we need an information platform that shows all the endpoint that money is untraceable or disappear or mixer. And then you show a clock of how fast are these guys responding to your help. And you show a ranking of all these guys and how many transactions went there exactly. 200 transactions aggregated to about $50 million. Went to this mixer, and this mixer is nowhere to be found. Then you can ask legal or regular help to see, hey, these guys, if the money is with Lazarus, is sanctioned, imagine 1.5 billion, what kind of bad can it do? Sanctioned money, go to nuclear development, whatever. So whoever is not helping, you're not just not helping the victim. You might be violating a sanctioned OFAC law. But who knows who's helping the hacker? Nobody. So we're building this site. I'm actually launching it with you, called hackbounty.com. It's an aggregated thing like what I just told you. What's interesting is you can become a bounty hunter yourself. You can submit, help us to trace any traceable thing you want. The moment you submit, that money reach the endpoint, we will register you as the bounty hunter for this line. And then we will have our team will reach out to that endpoint. And then the clock starts. And then the endpoint is on the ranking, saying how much balance they have. You are either freezing it or tell me where the money went, give me the next endpoint, or you're not responding. By maybe a few days or a few weeks or a few months later, you will see who are those, the bad actors in the industry that's not responding to victim help at all. And then we can do something about it. And when this website becomes popular, let's say all the bounty hunters are on it, everyone's looking into it, exchange is going to help because they don't want to end up on the list. They want to respond ASAP so they can get themselves off the hook. I'm a fucking exchange. I exactly know how it works. I don't want my regulator to see me on that bloody list because I don't want to be helping North Koreans, sanctioned, whatever. So I will for sure have a team removing myself and responding to these things ASAP. And if you are a mixer, then gradually you'll be on some sort of list. So I think at the end of the day, we need to use what blockchain is really good at to solve a blockchain problem. That's transparency. And then everything is aggregated and anyone can come here, issue a bounty and become a bounty hunter. And we are hoping this website will help all the victims to chase the money. Yeah.
Hackbounty.com.
Hackbounty.io. Crypto.
This is the website you told me about in the beginning of this conversation. Yes. I didn't want to
tell.
We'll release this podcast just after you release the website. Thank you so much, Ben, for doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you for showing the crypto world that we have serious people and stellar leaders in the industry. You showed everyone what being a true general in wartime means. Obviously, our industry didn't need another tragic event, but we needed to see that we've come a long way since 2022 and the collapse of too many major crypto lenders and exchanges. And during this very painful weekend, you just did that. You showed us that the industry has grown stronger and that we're moving to the right direction. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you for the interview.